Welcome back to Les Schwab Tire Center's Outdoor GPS. It's time for Owin's Field Report, sponsored by Les Schwab Tire Centers.
Okay, first things first, let's just get this out of the way. This is one of the worst opening weeks that I've ever experienced. Now, there's a number of reasons for that, and I've got every excuse in the world that you can think of, but they're good ones. They're good ones. Overall, there ain't no water anywhere. I covered more ground, put more miles on my Chevy Silverado than I would really like to admit. It really kind of fell down to the fact after scouting and looking at big water that you just can't get to them if you don't have a boat. And my boat right now, my duck boat in particular, is in getting some add-ons, some extras. I probably should have timed that a little bit earlier. But at the very least, the biggest issue that I ran into this week, and maybe yourself as well if you are a waterfowl hunter, no water. I mean, really, it's even in main river systems, no matter what it is, if it's the big one, the little one, down south, over on the east side, whatever, there's just no water. Now, there are some birds around. I actually did run across quite a few birds. They were just inaccessible, at least inaccessible to me. I didn't have the ability to get to them. And that's part of the issue this time of year. There's some birds here, not very many. It seems like the local population, which I was kind of shocked by, you know, I did start on Saturday. I had my report on Sunday, hunted Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And, you know, in the end, I got no photos for you. I'm not going to take a photo of one bird and go, oh, yeah, it was a success. But in the end, this week, what I learned, until we get water, things are going to be super tough. It's just, that's why they call it waterfowl. You just got to have, well, water, just that simple. So I'm going to stick to that excuse because it was a struggle all the way around. But where it wasn't, well, I shouldn't even say it that way. Fishing overall was decent. Not great, but there were certainly some good reports coming from some of the tributaries along the coast for silvers and fall chinook. And in the valley here, same thing. Silvers in particular, pretty decent fishing. Got some videos that we're going to hopefully show you here in the next week or two, depending on how that rotation goes. Folks out twitching in drift boats, chasing silvers around. So there's certainly some bright spots. If you're going to be along the coast, it's probably the systems that I would target would be somewhere in there. Locally, though, you know, some of the tributaries around here, again, water is a big deal. You can walk to some of those spots, or if you got the right drift boat or raft, whatever, you can also get to them that way. But definitely something to consider. Don't give up yet. I mean, this is certainly the time of year where you can have some fun on small water, and that's my preferred way to go after any of them if I have that option. So there's certainly some ways to go, and hopefully as things go along, we can start getting some of those reports from some of our guides here this upcoming weekend, maybe even this weekend. We'll see on how things are really going over there real time. But for now, we are still going to show you fish counts. The Columbia is still open below Bonneville and all the way up for the retention of Chinook. Yes, there are still silvers that are in the system. There's been some very good opportunities below Bonneville. This past week, I'd call it really good fishing, but much like Dave mentioned last week when we had him here on Sunday, it's kind of that weed through them kind of thing to find a chromer. A lot of the fish that are below Bonneville are destined to stay there. They're going to go to tributaries that are below it. There's any number of them that they can go to. So still good opportunities close to home if that's the way that you wish to go. But of course, you can see coho numbers are certainly starting to dwindle. And all of this is very much right on par with that 10-year average as we go. River levels, though, these are where things are going to start getting more interesting as we get into November and December. And of course, January, if you're like me and you're looking forward to winter steelhead, which, cross your fingers, all the signs are good, but that doesn't necessarily mean anything, it seems like these days. Tides are huge on the Columbia right now, literally peaks right now. If you take the highest one there at 5.2, you're literally talking about 20 minutes, and then it's well back on its way out. Super, super fast in and out tide. So again, if you're looking for water and consistency in water, it's very frustrating. It's just very frustrating right now. Below Bonneville, you can see this is at the dam itself. They're just keeping everything very consistent. And you'll see that, of course, going all the way through pretty much until we get a cold snap where things might change. Local rivers, there is a forecast of a little bit of a bounce. This is all good stuff. Anytime that we see this time of year, it's going to improve opportunities, again, for silvers. Questions have already been asked about winter steelhead being caught. It's October. we don't want to talk about that yet. But at least you can see that there is some water around. 3.5 on the Wilson. That's pretty much a trickle. You better know exactly where you're going or have a raft. So that's the same thing. Tidewater is something to consider there. And of course in the Alces and pretty much all the way up and down the coast that have a fall Chinook return. This is the time to be in those tidewater areas, bays, wherever you have that opportunity. Trolling 360s, and of course don't forget trolling the old school Tolman thumpers, herring behind fish splash. All those work very well right now. And for some that have good eggs right now, the bobber and egg fishing has been interesting. That's what certainly gets me excited. But of course, don't forget, send an email over there to my buddy Jason at Procure. There is a winner every Monday morning. If you are the winner, you will be notified. It's a steelhead pack, which can obviously be used for silvers and Chinook, but of course, steelhead as they start to show up more in our systems. Holy smokes, we got multiple calls coming in, so we're going to get to those in a second. But first, we need to check in with Carly Olson, and hopefully she's got good news for us, just like last week, where we might have some rain on the way.
That is correct. Yes.
Good.
There is a little bit more rain coming in the next couple of days. Let's talk about today, though, to start. So as you headed out your door, you might have noticed some light drizzle, depending on where you are in the state, and some concentrated cloud cover as well. However, as the morning goes on, that cloud cover will break up a bit. We should have some sunshine peeking through, and we'll get up to about 70 degrees for our high here in Portland, mid-60s over on the coast, up to 72 down in Albany, and a variety of temperatures over in eastern Oregon, mid-60s up to mid-70s. But wherever you are, you should enjoy some sunshine and some light cloud cover. But this will all change tomorrow. That is when an atmospheric river, which has remained north of us until now, is going to start to head south. It will hit the coast at around 2, so they'll start to see some light showers at that point. And later in the evening, we in Portland will start to see that as well. Those light showers will last throughout the evening and then into Monday as well. So we'll definitely see some lighter showers throughout that day. And then Tuesday, things should start to dry out. So like I said, for today, our high is going to be right around 70 degrees. We'll have some light cloud cover there, probably thicker in some areas, but we will definitely see some sunshine depending on where you are in the state. And like I said, tomorrow, that is when the rain returns, starting in the afternoon to evening hours, going into Monday as well. And Monday is also when temperatures drop. So we will stay in the low 60s for the rest of the week. But Tuesday through Thursday should be pretty sunny and pretty dry as well. And so enjoy the sunny and warm-ish weather today while you can. And for those of you who enjoy the rainfall, well, you're in luck. That's coming back tomorrow and running through Monday.
I love hearing atmospheric river this time of year.
It sounds pretty intense, probably more intense than it will feel and look, but still, it's fun to say.
It is, and it's always, I get very optimistic when I hear those terms come from a meteorologist. Thank you, as always, Carly. We appreciate it. Okay, now before we cut to a break, I've got Mickey from Portland on the line. He's got a question about fishing this year. Mickey, I'll do the best I can to answer your question for you. What's going on?
Is this Owin?
It is.
Well, how are you doing, Owin?
Good, sir. What's your question for everyone?
Well, my question was just how the whole year went for you. Did you get an average amount of fish?
I'll say that overall, my season in particular, not talking about winter steelhead season, which obviously kicks off my fishing season post duck season. Overall, salmon fishing for me this year was not bad, not great. I've had much worse years. I will say that I kind of stopped a little bit early, getting ready for our bow season, and then now, of course, into our duck season. But overall, I would say it was a pretty darn good year. There was a lot of folks that were crying the blues, and I may have been one of those at points, but in the end, I would call it a successful year. I know my neighbors were very happy, and I still have some spring Chinook from the Columbia River in my freezer at home. So overall, it was a success. Hopefully, it's just a sign of good things going forward throughout the remainder of the year, and that 2025 will be positive as we started off with our winter steelhead. So hopefully you had a good year, Mickey, as well. Most folks did, but I will say that we always want to have more opportunity, and maybe we'll see that happen this upcoming year as fish populations, if we're lucky, come back as stronger as they did this year. Okay, we have Jay from Tualatin on. It looks like he's got a report and a comment or something about the chronic wasting testing. So we're going to take his call here a little bit later on. When we come back from this break, I'm going to have here in the studio, Derek Broman. He is the game program manager. We're going to talk about something that really, I don't want to say should scare you, but it should. It's called chronic wasting disease. This has been around for a while, and now it's on our doorstep. We need to find out what it is, how you can be part of the fix, also what it takes to get your animals tested, and maybe even a little look to the future on what that process might look like. We'll be back in just a couple of minutes.
Outdoor GPS is brought to you by P-Line, because we fish, by Hawken Fishing, perfection in fishing gear, and by Haxton's Canvas and Upholstery, the trusted name of the Pacific Northwest.